we're back for Chapter 6, Shark Classes. Teach me more about sharks, Sarah pleaded at the dinner table. Here now, young lady, said his grandfather playfully. I've taught you all I know. No, you haven't, Sarah insisted. Teach me like you used to teach your classes. Sarah's grandmother watched the two people at the table with her. Sarah's mother had been right. Sarah, it turned out, was just what her husband needed to help him adjust to retirement. Though now it sounded like she wouldn't allow him to retire at all. I don't have any children's books on sharks, Sarah's grandfather protested. All I have are scientific papers, stacks of books that are probably too difficult for you to understand. Let me try, Sarah begged. I can read anything I want. I've already read the two big books about sharks on the coffee table. Besides, you can explain them to me. We'll have classes just like college. Okay, then, Granddad agreed. We can give it a try if you promise to work hard. I will, Sarah shouted. Let's start tonight. Tonight? Groaned her grandfather. I have to dig up my materials and plan my talks. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a few important facts tonight, and then we'll start the real work tomorrow. How's that? Sarah beamed. Okay, what facts? Just a few basics, began Granddad in his college lecturing voice. Sharks belong to a large group of fish that do not have bones. Their skeletons are made of cartilage, the same material your ears are made of. Sarah reached for her ear. Really? Really. Depending on how you look at it, and believe me, scientists can look at it a lot of different ways, there are between 800 and 1,000 types of cartilaginous fish. About 370 of these are sharks. There are many different kinds of sharks. Tiny ones like the dwarf shark grow to be only 10 inches long. Huge ones like whale sharks grow to be 45 feet, but eat only plankton, the smallest plants and animals in the ocean. And there's the famous white shark, which eats very large prey such as seals and other marine mammals. People often think of sharks as primitive creatures, Granddad continued. Actually, many sharks are highly evolved. At this, Grandma slipped away from the table. Joe was hitting his professional stride, and his lecture might go on for quite a while. They've existed on Earth almost 400 million years. They have highly developed senses. Their sight is excellent, especially in dim underwater light. Their sense of smell is good, too. Their noses use water instead of air. They can smell the tiniest bits of blood and tissue in their environment. To track their prey, they swing their heads back and forth, which fills each nostril with water. They just follow the current, right to the source. Their hearing is superb, especially in the low frequencies. For instance, they can hear the sounds of a fish struggling, a splash, or even a helicopter. Sharks also have more senses than we do. Like all fish, they have two cords called lateral lines that run down each side. The cells in these lines detect vibrations or pressure changes in the water. They help the shark feel its way through the ocean, which can be a very difficult place to see. Sarah thought about earlier in the day when she had pretended to be the tiger shark. And then there are the amplua of Lorenzi. He said the name slowly with great drama. Sarah perked up and listened carefully. Amplua means vials, and Lorenziani was a scientist who discovered them way back in 1678. Can you say that? Ampullae of Lorenzini, repeated Sarah promptly. The ampullae of Lorenzini are specialized pores located around the shark's head. We know now that they are very sensitive to electric fields, such as those produced by the nerves of a living organism. Granddad paused. Did you know that all animals produce tiny electric fields? Yes, Granddad, said Sarah with a weary grin. I watch TV. There was a program about that last year. She smiled because she knew her grandfather hated TV. I suppose that's possible, Granddad gave in. Then he continued. Lorenzini identified them, but he had no way of knowing how incredible they really were. We know that the amplitude allows sharks to feel other living animals close by, even those that have hidden themselves under the sand for protection. So when the sharks are hungry, they are superbly equipped to find their food. Or did you learn that on TV too? Nope, Sarah admitted. That's news to me. Good, said Granddad. Now, contrary to what most people learn on television, sharks don't eat everything they see. If they did, they would not fit into the balance of life in the oceans. Scientists believe they prefer to eat what is familiar to them, just like you. If I served you a big bowl of delicious insects, you probably wouldn't eat them unless you were starving, would you? Not if my life depended on it, Sarah replied. And just like yours, Granddad continued, sharks' tastes tend toward the things they're used to eating. Though it's true that some sharks are less discriminating than others. A white shark, for instance, lives in the open ocean. There's more water than food out there. So when the white shark comes inshore looking for a nice juicy seal to eat, and it comes across something very much like a seal, a surfer in a wetsuit, for instance, it often bites first and then makes the decision whether to finish the meal or not, which isn't so great if you're the surfer. Sarah smiled and nodded. It's kind of like catch and release fishing, only it's the fish doing the catching. Exactly, Granddad agreed. If sharks were as bad as movies made them out to be, he continued, no one would ever be able to set foot in the water, because sharks are everywhere. They are an important part of the sea, and they are very well adapted to find their food or anything else they might want. But they aren't the killers we've been taught to believe, and we need them. We need them because we need a healthy ocean, and we need them for things we might not even realize yet. For example, did you know that sharks rarely get cancer? Really? Asked Sarah, eyes wide. Why not? We don't know. We only know it has something to do with their immune system, said Sarah's grandfather. But wouldn't it be nice to find out why before we erase them from the earth? Sarah nodded. Now eat up, ordered Granddad, pointing to Sarah's dinner. We've got some busy days ahead of us.